guys, and welcome to Faith Works Designs. I'm Faith, and today we're doing something a little fun. We're going to be going to Universal Studios soon, and I know that being the mom, I'm going to have to be the one that carries literally everything. So I got thinking about what bag I wanted to take on the trip, what was going to make my life easier, because I'm not going to be riding any rides, so I can wear kind of like a book bag, but I am going to be having to carry a lot of different things. So the very first thing that we found when we were doing a lot of research, I'm trying to save money. We have a lot of people going and we spent a lot to get in. So I'm trying to think of ways to be able to save money when we go to Universal. If you have any tips, please leave those down below. So the very first thing that we are going to do is we're going to get these reusable cups, or refillable cups, I guess. It's the Coca-Cola Freestyle cup. We got this the last time that we went and it really helped out saving on drinks. But we have a lot more kids that we're taking this time, so we plan on getting an extra cup. I wanted a way to be able to carry these cups. We are going to be taking the Lindsling sling, and we're going to be adding a lining to this so that you can carry your cups when you go to a theme park. If you happen to be going somewhere where they have refillable cups or mugs or whatever, this is going to be a really great hack, because I think the Lindsling sling is like amazing and my customers love it. So that's why I chose to do this. I think it's going to be really helpful as far as like anti-theft. When you're at big parks like that, you're really not paying attention to your bags and stuff. So with the zipper being on the back side, you don't have to really worry about that. So as far as the inside goes, I wanted to have two different compartments to put our drinks. Ideally it would be on the back, but since that's where the opening is, we're going to put it on the rounded front part. And so far, from what I can tell, it's going to be okay, even with it being on a rounded part. So in the instructions, all I'm going to show you is how to do the lining. You can go over to Lynn's and you can see the rest of how it's put together, but today we're just going to be concentrating on the lining. So I've got enough holders for two. We haven't got our other cup yet, but from what I can tell, it's going to work just fine. And I can't wait to be able to use this. I think it's really going to help keep our drinks steady so that they're not like sloshing all over my book bag. I am, however, using waterproof canvas just in case. Let's get started. So the very first thing you're going to want to do is grab your Lynn's handmade pattern, and then what I did is I went ahead and I added 3.5 inches to the width. You don't have to do anything different for the height, just the width. Now, with your side pieces, you do not need to do anything different with them. Do them exactly the way that they are. You don't have to add any height, you don't have to add any width. You can if you want to, but that really messes up with the rest of the measurements, so just leave that alone. I've got my little netting and I've cut it 9 inches high, and then I doubled it across the width of my lining. So it's doubled. I'll have plenty of room to hold those cups. Now 9 inches might be too high. I won't know until I get started, and I'd rather cut it too big than too small. The next thing that I did was I cut out some of my lining color, a strip that's 2 inches, doubled the lining, and then what I did was I went ahead and I marked the center line, and then I'm going to peel this tape off and bring that together, and that's going to go along the top. Alright, so we're going to take the lining piece that we marked down the center, and we're just going to make the side pieces come to that center mark all the way down and on the other side. And this is going to be our binding for the very, very top of our netting piece that's going to hold our drink. And I'm also using waterproof canvas on the inside. It is entirely up to you what you use, but I just find I'm going to a theme park, so I want everything to kind of stay as dry as it can. Alright, now we're going to grab our netting and some clips, and then what we're going to do is we're going to fold this over top. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. We're just going to make that into a binding over our netting, and that way there's no raw edge for our netting. It'll look a lot nicer. If you wanted to and you had the patience, you could add elastic to this, and that way it would kind of stay tight on the top of your drinks, but the bag is kind of itself tight, And I think if I added elastic, I would kind of be frustrated. So we are not adding elastic to this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to top stitch this down. All across. So we've got our netting all ready to go. I have folded it in half and I've kind of pinched it with my fingers so that there's a crease there. Then I took my lining piece and I folded it in half and I pressed that down the middle so that I could kind of tell where the middle is. I'm also going to put a little notch down here at the bottom so that I can know that I'm there. Alright, so we're going to match up. And I think 9 inches was just about right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here and start sewing and then go all the way down. Now what I would do is just clip the bottom so that it just kind of stays where it's at and not moving around, because that's what it's going to want to do. It's going to want to move around. Okay, so start up at the top and just sew directly down the middle, right down the middle. Okay, so what I think I forgot to say was you're going to want to line the bottom up and just let that, and then just sew down the middle. Now what I've done on this side is I went ahead and I've brought the side all the way together, and then I let the middle of the mesh kind of meet together and then pleated it out. Now it looks really huge at this point, but once we sew up the sides and you've got all of your seam allowance, it's probably going to be just right. So let's do this together. So I'm going to take this side and I'm going to start down at the bottom and clip. And what you're going to do is you're going to base stitch this all together. So we're going to let those naturally kind of meet in the middle, or as middle as you can get it, and then kind of open it up a little bit. We got to make a pleat down at the bottom so that it'll be nice and tight down at the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here. I'm going to base stitch down, around the bottom, and then up the side. And make sure that you back stitch when you're starting and when you're stopping, because this is going to be pulled on a lot during our day. So far this is looking pretty good. It is again going to be tighter down at the bottom and on the sides once you do the seam allowance for the other stuff, but right now it looks like it's going to be the perfect size to hold our cup. So I am excited about that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make the rest of the bag the way that it's supposed to be. You just follow the rest of Lynn's instructions and you will have your insert all done. Okay, so future faith here, because I completely forgot to mention this. Don't forget to extend your outside panel 3.5 inches. Don't just do the lining, because then you'll have a smaller outside than your inside, okay? So make sure that you extend the panel on the outside. Also, for the back, you're going to want to take the pattern and then widthwise add 3.5 inches. Don't forget to do this on the back panel as well, because it will be too small for your back panel to fit with your front panel. So don't forget to add the width. Also, because you are adding width to it, your zipper is going to be too short. So add 1/2 inch to each of your tabs at the top and the bottom, and that way your zipper will extend as long as it needs to be. So don't forget that tip. Sorry. Alright, there you have it. There is the lining all done. That way you can tell so far one fits. I wish I had another cup so that I could show you guys that it fit, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work. It's in there nice and snug, and once I get the bottom seam in, I think it's going to be just the perfect size. So I would use a 9-inch height, and I think it'll be just right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. Or if you want to subscribe and hang around and see some of the other videos that I have coming out, We would love to have you here. Or if you have any comments, questions, leave them in the comment section down below. What would you have done differently? Would you have added the elastic? I don't think that it needs it because it's in there nice and snug. Now that I've got the sides attached, I can see that it's in there pretty good. I think if you wanted to add elastic, you're going to have to add a lot more netting because it's going to be too tight then. So just keep that in mind when you're working on that. If you have any comments, just leave them down below. Thanks for joining us again on Faith Works Designs. Bye, guys.